Because when you memorize a speech, when you're up here, what are you doing? You're just recalling the speech. So you're not even with the audience, you're just really just in your head thinking what's the thing to say. Okay, I like to change that. Do not memorize the speech. Instead, you internalize the speech. Big difference. You internalize. I'm going to give you the steps later on how to internalize, okay? So why is it that some speakers cannot remember their speech? It's because there are no, there's no structure. There's no, okay, first I talk about A, then I talk about B, then I talk about C. There's no structure, no roadmap. And because there's no roadmap, you get lost. It's like, have you ever drive and without using a street directory? It's going to take you a long while to get there. Yeah? But when you have a certain structure, a certain guide, your audience immediately know what you're talking about. One of the basic way of structure is this. Okay guys, today I'm going to tell you 7 things on how to improve your public speaking skill, okay? Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Finally, number 7. This is a structure, and it works. Because at least I guide you through the steps. That's the basic thing you can do. And if I tell you I've got 7 things to tell you, it's a good thing. Because if I'm boring, at least you know how boring I'll be. Right? If I hit 6, you know, oh, it's going to be over soon. Right? So I'm going to share with you 2 more ways. The first one is PREP, so it should be on your handout. Okay? Now PREP is a very, very powerful and yet at the same time very simple way of organizing your speech. I spent a lot of time studying speakers, and I visit this website a lot called www.ted.com. You might want to take it down. It represents technology, entertainment, and design. They represent a lot of thought leaders and a lot of very interesting speakers talking about a lot of things that can change the world. Very interesting speeches. And some of the most interesting speeches adopt this style, this format, ted.com, www.ted.com, okay? And so I'm going to let you know what the structure represents. So P stands for points, R stands for reason, E stands for example, and then P stands for point. So essentially, you make a point. For example, I look like a chipmunk. That's the point you make. The next immediate thing you go is, why? Why do I look like a chipmunk? Because I'm very cute. Alright? I think, yeah, I'm very cute. Example. See? I'm so cute. And therefore, I am a chipmunk. That's a very basic speech. But can you see it starts to make sense? So every time you make a point, the next thing you must answer is, why do you make that point? And then you give them an example. For those of you who always have to speak impromptu, that means to say you have to speak off the cuff, all of a sudden your boss says, okay, come on, say a few words. Right? Do this. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to teach you a hamburger method of how to deliver a speech. 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, you can come up with a speech already. The boss asks you, okay, give me a scenario. Okay, for example, give me a topic that you want me to speak on.
Swine flu.
Great, swine flu. Swine flu, right? So now, let's say the person gives you a general topic called swine flu. The first thing you must always identify is this thing called the message. You need to say, what do I want to tell them at the end of the day? What's my end message? Someone mentioned before, you got to always keep the end in mind. If you have no focus, you have no end point, then anywhere, you'll go anywhere. So what's the message? So can anyone help me create a message about swine flu?
Wash your hands.
Sorry?
Wash your hands.
So great, so it's about washing your hands, which means that in a general topic, it's about how to prevent your family from being infected with swine flu, for example. Or how to reduce, I mean we know we can't, but how do you reduce your possibility of getting the swine flu? So that is my general message. So in a speech, you never want to download too much information to your audience. So the rule of thumb is 3. Okay, there's a saying called less is more. So if you focus on 3 things, at least they remember. You tell them 5, 10 things, they can't remember anyway. So 3 things. So in your head, immediately you know, okay, the end point is, I'm going to tell them 3 things of how to reduce possibility of getting swine flu. So, point number 1 is, first of all, so that's the point, okay? I'm going to tell you I'm going to give you 3 reasons why, how we can reduce the possibility of getting swine flu. Why is this so important? So it's very easy, right? Why is it important? Because we know that Singapore is susceptible to the swine flu, and any of us can get it, and so it's like give you reasons. Okay, then you give an example. So the example can come in the form of story or someone that you know or someone you read on the papers who got swine flu accidentally. No one knows who's going to get it. Can you see that? And therefore, after that, you move on to your P. So the P could be your next point. So in this case, since I'm going to tell you 3 ways to reduce your possibility, my P represents, here are the 3 ways. Number 1, wash your hands. Number 2, what else? Huh? Oh, is it? Such a, you anyhow give one or real one? Real one or real one? Okay. Huh, okay, so number 1, wash your hands often. Number 2, don't rub your eyes. Is it don't rub your eyes? Number 3, eat more fruits. Cover your mouth when you sneeze. Okay? Something like that. Can you see a speech immediately form? Right? That's how you do it. Basic speech. Right? I repeat, so that you all know. First thing, every time someone asks you to give something, ask yourself, wait, what's the end point? What is it that at the end of the day I want them to remember? So my end point is I want them to remember 3 ways to reduce the possibility of getting swine flu. Okay? Great. Then now immediately I will set it up. I will say, okay, today I'm going to tell you 3 ways to reduce swine flu. Let me give you a reason why it's so important, and then I'll give you an example, and then I'll give you 3 points. See that? Simple speech time. Alright, so very basic. But don't look down on this, you can make this very powerful. I'll show you how it goes. So for example, if I actually run a lot of some of you might know, I run full day programs. In fact, I run 2 days of presentation program because it's very intense. Not only do we need to work on the content, we need to work on the delivery, and we do a lot of video work. So in the 2-day program, what I do is this. Now I'll teach you how to open. As I mentioned, your opening is very important. Your first 30 seconds. So you always do this. You have an opening. You'll think of how you want to start. You will think of how you end. So there are many strategies to do that. Okay, so you can choose. For example, opening, you can start off with a quote. Sometimes you can start off with a story. Sometimes you can start with a demonstration. There are many ways. There are altogether 12 or 14 ways to do that. For those of you who are interested to know more, you can actually get yourself the book. I think it's in chapter 4, or someone who has the book will be able to point out. So there are many ways to do a start. And there are many ways to do the end. So all you need to do is work on point 1, point 2, point 3. So at point 1, you use the PREP model. Point 2, you use the PREP model. And this is how you do it. Can you see that? This is how your whole entire speech comes. So if you have 3 points, you have 3 PREPs. Are you all following? Okay? So this is a very simple model. So now you start to understand why is it that some speakers can talk non-stop, man. It's not true. It's because they got a master plan in their head. And therefore they can talk. Okay? And what's very interesting is that all of a sudden I don't have to put in all the exact sentences. I just put in some keywords. Wash hand, don't rub eyes, and number 3 is cover your mouth. Then all of a sudden I just memorize this. I can learn speech. Okay? You want to learn one more structure? Can you absorb one more? Okay, this one even more powerful. Okay? Yeah, to be honest, doesn't come from me. It came from a book. It came from this guy called Cliff Atkinson or something like that. He wrote this book called Beyond Bullet Point. And the book really was trying to promote PowerPoint. Okay, so don't buy the book. This is really the essence of the book, the first chapter, which is about how do you organize a presentation. And he actually shared this method, and it's inspired by Hollywood movie. Okay, you know Korean drama? You know Korean drama always must have someone dying, right? Yeah. So imagine this, the final scenario. Okay. Okay, tell me, okay, let me reenact. So, in Korean drama, setting, where do you want the place to be? Huh?
Palace.
Palace what? Oh, the chef thingy, right? Okay, so in the Korean palace, right? And who's the protagonist? You want a guy or a girl? A girl, very pretty girl, right? Okay, what's her background? She's a rich girl, poor girl, huh? What?
Assassin.
Oh, okay, nice, cool. So she's an assassin, alright? And now she's the protagonist, okay? And so the imbalance is here. So right at the start, they show the Korean palace, and they show a really, really gorgeous Korean girl. 안녕하세요. Right, yeah, so you know it's Korean, alright? Okay, and then after that, okay, you see her in a black ninja costume. This is my only way I will know that it's an assassin. Right, and then she take kimchi. And then she jumped into the palace, and therein lies a problem. She needs to get, okay, she was stealing all the jewelry, and all of a sudden she got caught. Someone said, hey, you steal jewelry, in like English, right? And so immediately, the imbalance is always the problem. The problem